Hello guys, how's it going? My name is Darren, and in today's video I want to discuss a little bit about the artifact power system. In the past videos where I talked a bit about the AP system, I tried to cover it objectively. I didn't want to give my own thoughts on it because I never really had any thoughts of my own about the AP system. It was way too early to tell. But I tried to objectively provide information on what other people have said and what the system technically does for the game, the benefits and the drawbacks from it. But again, objectively, not trying to judge it or anything. But in today's video, I collected a few ideas about the AP system after the release of patch 7.2, and I want to tell you guys my personal issues with the artifact power system. Now, before I continue this video, I want to preface this with a couple of points. Artifact power system is not a bad system. One, it gives longevity to the game, so it'll be something you'll be doing for weeks, months, and years, question mark, depends how long the Legion expansion will last, but it gives you short-term goals and long-term goals in order to continue playing the game. It also builds on class complexity, as it gives you the 4 extra points and builds up on some of the other points from your artifact traits, allowing you a little bit more to do with your class. And I feel like in Legion, the more class complexity we have and the more class intricacy we have instead of the prune, the better. So this system isn't bad, especially with the patch of 7.2 releasing a lot of new traits. It also gives us a reason to do dailies, and one of the best things about this game is the fact that the world feels alive. When I'm out doing world PvP or world dailies, for example, I like the PvP dailies, probably some of the most favorite, but when I'm out in the world and there's other people farming AP or farming whatever from your daily quests that are out in the world quests, it feels so cool just to have so many players running all over the place and doing the same thing you do, because it's way better than what you had in World of General, where everybody sits in a main hub city or in their own garrison, just sending followers in order to do all of their quests for them. It also has a catch-up mechanic. The artifact power system eventually does introduce a catch-up mechanic. Granted, it is towards the end of the completion of your weapon after you build up a decent amount of research, in which takes 5 days at a time to complete a single research, and as long as you're keeping up with it. So eventually you do get a catch-up mechanic, which is cool, but the fact that it happens eventually is kind of part of the problem here. And this is kind of when I want to start dissecting the artifact power system. I think I've said everything good about it, and I do stand by these things, but I feel like as soon as patch 7.2 dropped, it just screwed things up for me so bad. One, my attention from all the classes that I've been playing, all the different characters, transferred to my main, grinding for the AP required for PvP and the PvE. And I don't mean just characters, I also mean just specializations as well. Another thing is, since I have so many alts and I do want to catch them up, the sequence just to get a character through the beginning and the basics and get to the Broken Isles and then get your extra research done and then get the AP in order to get yourself that 10% stamina and 10% damage increase. That whole sequence just takes so long. It's just, after doing it on one character, then on a second, you really just don't want to go do it on a third. But after you do it on your third, you're dredging it on your fourth, and I did it for my third. I'm probably not gonna have a fourth character in a while. I have a hunter and a demon hunter that I'm still leveling, or I'm trying to catch up, but I doubt that I'll be doing that anytime soon. It's very time consuming with the flight paths and the AP farming, and there's no real way to be strategical about it, to maybe skip a step or find a way around it. It's just time locked in a way, which is a little bit annoying. And I feel like after the patch 7.2, with the way that came out, it actually honestly just changed the game for me. I went from having 3 specs of Rogue that I can play with, 2 fully functional old characters that I can play WoW with PvP or be it PvE. Maybe I just want to run an LFR just to see my damage, or maybe I'm trying to learn Beast Mastery, I'm just doing a dungeon real quick, or I'm trying to find a cool new way to play Demon Hunter in PvP. All that went back to one character and one spec for being fully functional. If you want to be competitive in progression rating or competitive rated PvP, I feel like you need to make sure you're on top of your game regarding AP weapon farming methods and the will to commit yourself to the spec of choice. And again, I will say this again, I do understand that there's a catch-up mechanic, but it's useful way later. So I'm probably not going to be able to see some of these alts like the Hunter and the Demon Hunter, and I'm not going to be able to really fully explore on that priest that I leveled as thoroughly, or let's say any other class that I have an interest with. It'll be a while until I'm able to even think about another, even an alt spec to really level and fully progress through my artifact weapon until way down the line with my research. And if I was somebody who was casual in this game, if you're somebody who is casual in Legion, then this isn't really an issue. If you play this game casually, and then there's not really as big of a need to get your weapon fully built up. It won't really stop you from doing random battlegrounds or even doing LFR raids. But if you're not casual, then it feels like the game almost takes away all these alts and the time you spend on all the classes and just for fun, just casual, just chilling, and reverts it all back to your main. So it almost makes it think like it takes the time that you had to spend, and basically takes almost your alts away, because now you have to focus on your main because you want to stay competitive, because you want to stay ahead of the pack. You want to have that competitive edge for PvE or PvP. And that's really my biggest issue with the AP system. It feels like it kind of took away my favorite specs. Not as viable. I mean, I can still swap to Assassination, I can still swap to Subtlety, but I can't fully explore on these specs as easily, you know? I'm really trying to make sure I build up my artifact weapon for Outlaw. Then if I have any extra AP after I've fully completely done my weapon, which will be a while until I'm able to do so, then I might be able to fully explore and really invest some AP into some of the other spec weapons. But until then, it just won't feel quite the same. And I guess I do have a little bit of solution. Like if I could like think of like what would be solution to the system, I honestly think if you were to make the baseline talents, the baseline traits, like the very baseline, much easier to acquire, much easier to snag, and not make it such a long journey of waiting and research and AP. Like if I were to just if I was able to, let's say, take a whole day and grind AP the full day, just go back to Mythic Plus, Mythic Plus, Mythic Plus. Let's say I run 6 Mythic Pluses with the library bonus, then I could, if the game allowed me to completely fully build up my weapon, get the extra traits, add an extra point to the traits I already have, and unlock that extra passive trait that will be the stacking trait that stacks into basically infinity, but then make the stacking trait the one that's really expensive. Then I think it'll make this game a little bit less grindy, because then people could at least get those bearings, because you will want to get your weapon fully built up to get your basic bearings for PvE or PvP. But if you were to make that grinding part for the very last trait that stacks to infinity, if you want to make that part grindy, then I think it will have a little bit more balance and a little bit more friendly for people with limited time when it comes to playing World of Warcraft and limited time to grind all that AP that we'll need. But that's just my 2 cents for the day. Anyway guys, let me know what you think about the topic. Do you like the current AP system or not really? Let me know all that in the comments below, and I'll see you guys in the next video.